And we are live. Good to see everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Got this stream going. Looks like no major issues. Already had some people waiting. Some thumbs up going here. Thank you very much. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Hey Eric, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and share. And then I will get the screen share going. I want to show you. I told you one of the things that you're going to find a little bit different about this channel than many other channels is there are days where I am not going to have any trades. So with today and the way today opened and the subsequent price action, since I mostly trade futures, I didn't. There were a couple of really nice equity setups that I want to go over with everybody. Many of the people in Alchemist during our live trading were able to catch some of these equity trades. So I want to talk a little bit about that and kind of show you all what that looks like. So, but for me, otherwise, no. I had an incredible day yesterday. I closed out this morning, or sorry, I closed out yesterday having one of my best. If actually, I think it's my best trading month so far, which is pretty crazy since I've had three trading months in a row, basically that have been better trading months every month. So I'm really happy about that and the way that's going. So today, hey Matthew, how are you, my friend? Salut, mon ami. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good to see you all. So the first trade I want to talk about a little bit is Nvidia. We just called a really nice short on Nvidia that's been working pretty well. The SPY just got back to R4, so we're getting a bit of a bounce on the SPY, which we actually called somewhere. Oh, here. So you can see there, we actually called. Look at that long on the SPY we just called. How good is that? Is anybody else in here rocking a trading system that's calling you out stuff with that kind of accuracy, with that kind of alerting and stuff like that? I mean, if you do, use it. But I just don't know of any very many programmed indicators out there that are going to be giving you that. Right. So I mean, I hope you're enjoying. We're putting a lot of effort, more effort than I think you'd realize we're putting into developing one of the best. I mean, I'm trying to develop the best trading system for the best community ever. Right. So look at here. This is Microsoft. This is a lot of my mentees are short Microsoft right now. Microsoft's the ideal call today, Jose, because it didn't break the high of day after 10:30, but NQ has double broken today. So today is already a bit of a variation, but Microsoft is the trade du jour for sure, right? So you could see here we opened, we then did a very weak offer, right? And then wicked, stuffed, and then sold. We then rolled under and started selling right about here. Really nice area to get involved, get short. You could use the pullback to the average and get in, whatever you wanted to use. And right now we're just beautifully working down, and we've made a new low of day after 10:30 on Microsoft, which makes Microsoft statistically viable for a better run. So for most of my mentees, I told them to lock in, hold tight, and we're going for CP on this one, right? ATR low, yesterday's close, and the CP all sitting right next to each other. If that's not an obvious spot, I don't know what is, right? So if you're in this one, just keep hanging on. It should not buy back through VWAP, so it really shouldn't rebuy the open at this point. So, but you don't ever want to crowd it, give it a little space. But at this point, like you should be trailing because it should transition. We've made new lows of day. We really should not kick back in to that range. So if you wanted to kind of trail down behind the open and leave, if we could buy the open in the 20, that'd probably be reason to get out or leave it just above this low here. See how we had this test candle that held? That's a very important note right there. So you could even stick it just above that, whatever you want to do. Just don't get too tight, right? Just don't get too tight, right? Oh, my pleasure, JC. I'm so glad. I am so beyond happy to be for this indicator to be out for everybody, and I can actually like really explain it, and we can really talk about what it's doing in like such a genuinely better way. Like I'm so happy. Hey, good to see you. What? It's Reagan. Reagan, right? Reagan or Garrett? You're at Reagan Garrett. Do you go by Reagan or do you go by Garrett most of the time? I'm gonna do my best to like get to know you, right? I'm hoping y'all are gonna be like my new trading family. We're gonna grow it up right here. So I really want to get to know you. I'm going to be the person here the vast majority of the time. Only downside is tomorrow. I'm actually flying tomorrow, doing a little traveling. So unfortunately, tomorrow, I'm going to be landing for one of my legs at 10:50. And by the time I get off the plane, get through security and all that stuff, I don't think I'll have time to stream. Now, question, would you all prefer just to miss tomorrow, or would you prefer for me to like I could even stream from my phone potentially from the airport or off of my iPad from the airport. I wouldn't be able to share screens as well, but we could still talk the market and talk about what's going on, or do you think that would be uninteresting? Because I don't want to take the time to do that if it's just going to lower the count on the day. You know what I mean? We're not gonna do that. So kind of, we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. So I may just take the day off if you, as long as y'all, promise to come back, right? So I probably won't stream tomorrow, 11 to 12. So just be aware of that, and then hopefully you will come back on the next day and hang. So I mean, the other thing we could, like I said, yeah, thank you. Can you approve my PTO, please? Ah, oh, you make me happy. But yeah, so we'll end up missing tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday, and I'm just gonna trust y'all that on Thursday you're liking the content enough and the stuff that you're gonna be right back here. Okay, so tomorrow no live. Right, just because it'll be too much. I'll be too distracted. It'll probably be a waste of your time anyway. So, we'll see how it goes, okay? I would like to do a giveaway, but I still have not figured out the tech. So oh, that's a really good point, JC Trader. Alright, everybody, it's time for my speech. Um, welcome to my house. Oh, crap. We missed an important part. On air. We didn't let everyone know we were on air. So, yeah. So, everybody, remember, this channel is my house. Kind of think about like when you go to someone's house, like a good friend's house, you go in there, they have really nice carpet. What do? You take your shoes off, right? Well, for this channel, the version of taking your shoes off is thumbs up, right? So whenever you come in, if you could just kind of get in the habit, as soon as you pop in, you see my shiny smile, right? You just go ahead and hit it, right? If I look at the ratio and I see 143 likes or people watching and I see 100 plus likes, I'm probably not gonna shear a lot, right? But in this instance, get my like on. Hey, Gabby and Papa K. So two of my guys, Gabby and Papa K, are actually having a watch party right now. So they're hanging out and talking while watching the stream. I think that's pretty dope. How fun is that? Um, definitely watch Mr. Rush. Exactly. Exactly, right? You gotta do it. So thank you very much for the thumbs up that just came in. I appreciate you all. And I will continue to harass you as long as you continue, but yeah. All right. So Microsoft, here we go. So we're going to be keeping an eye on Microsoft and Nvidia. These are the two trades that are really working right now. So Nvidia, again, sold nicely. It reoffered, but this is still a very solid short here, right? But Microsoft, again, like I said, this is our trade of the day, like trade du jour. This is the really good one. Remember, we've made new lows after 1030 on this one also. So we have our initial balance range stat is being bolstered right now. So it's pretty cool. Um, Yazzie, and then I'll look at Natalie. I'll look at MU for you. While I'm pulling it up, Yazzie. So the best way to learn my system in overview would be my book. I have a book called A Complete Day Trading System available on Amazon. So I need to start getting links put together. So A Complete Day Trading System. Not so you can find that on Amazon. That is by far going to be the easiest way for you to learn the generalized system that I utilize. I do offer mentorship as well as I have a mentoring community that I have with my partner, Dr. Vanessa Charling. Um, and that is Market Alchemists. And we have a website. It's a .org. So you can go to Market Alchemists. In there, you can find my calendar for my one-to-ones. You can also go to my Instagram, right, which is at Thor Young MA on Instagram. All of my links are posted on my profile there as well, right? So, Bing. So we're looking at MU. MU for me, unfortunately, has not set up a viable trade. For me, it looks good though, but the only place I would want to short MU from would have been near ATR high at R3, which it just didn't quite make it there. So me for NQ, I would actually leave NQ alone for now. Right now, with this opening position and this sweep direction, um, NQ is going to let's set value. So let me show you kind of what's going to happen here. You can see how we have this offer here, and then we sold down to this low here. From this low, we went all the way to this high. This has created a range, right? And let's range this. So we're going to use a Fibonacci, just basic fib, and we're going to go to high of day, off the low of day. That, as you can see here, let me get rid of the cams for a second. As you can see here, that has created a value area. If you are short MU, I would hold MU, right? Because they could have broken out. They were above support. They were in an area where they could have went to ATR high. Even with the NQ rallying, they could have, but they didn't, right? So for me, having it come back down here is inherently weak, but if I would hold. Now, if you wanted to go short, I would not go short here. Shorts are got to be from up here, right? Right now, you're right at VWAP, right on top of value, right on top of the open price. And the NQ has started rallying, right? So it is possible that MU could buy and break the long here, right? So that's why for me, MU, the best course of action on this one would likely be abstention, right? I wouldn't trade it. We don't have a signal. You do not have any, like, you don't have really a good indication of which direction this thing wants to go right now, and you're sitting right on top of value. These are the kind of things I look at in order to discount, right? Thank you, everybody. So we're doing pretty good at holding somewhere around 150 people, which is amazing. Thank you so much. If you have the opportunity, if you have other trading friends and buddies, please make sure, to just kind of like drop them there's this guy and he's kind of doing some stuff. So um, you're, are you using TradingView, Natalie? It's so funny. Oh, hopefully you can hear me. It says my connection is unstable. Oh, it's back. Natalie, can you hear me okay? Okay. Um, what is what are you in Trading View, Natalie? I think I lagged for a second. So my signal went a little low for a minute. I think I lagged for a second. I want to see if you're in Trading View, then I know. Okay, so if you go to the bottom right, let me get my annotation. Oh, I don't have annotation here. If you go to the bottom right down here, see where this says adjust data for dividends. Make sure that is not there. If you're using my cams with my configurations, make sure you are not adjusting for dividends. That will mess up the calc. So if you're on futures, you should adjust. If you're on equities, you should not. So that could be something. Otherwise, make sure you're on, make sure you're on the if you're on the premium indicator, right? Make sure you have Thor mode selected. One of the most advantageous moments of having the Camarilla pivot plays indicator is that you get Thor mode, right? Anytime I change my settings or the way things work, right? Anytime so you're gonna adjust it, you just click this little ADJ down here in the bottom. That'll switch it. Just this guy down here. So anytime I adjust my settings, those settings are gonna get adjusted into Thor mode. Right? So no matter what happens, you've always got the latest and greatest version of whatever I'm doing. Right? It's one of the better unique things that come with this. And then with that, you can get calls like this on SPY. Wow. Right? I mean, come on. We just swept low of day just to tick everybody off, absorbed it, and then rally. God, that's fun. For anyone who is in my mentoring group, we talked this morning about how much, and if you followed everyone here, hopefully you're following me on social media at Thor Young MA on Instagram, at Thor Young on X. Every single morning, I'm posting a market Thorcast on those, right? So that you have the opportunity to get an idea of what I'm thinking coming into the day, which I think can be very helpful. So I put today we have an unusual configuration and maybe a day to stay off the trades. We are in a lower range, but it's narrow and we are near R4. This is a very unideal place for good price action in this range. This could cause some unpredictable chopping as we offer highs and lows trying to entice participation. If you are going to play, I think ATR high would be a good spot or maybe R4, but the action will be difficult. Right? I post it a little bit around 9 o'clock every day. Sometimes, mostly earlier. I rarely post it after 9. It was there. I just read it. But so yeah. So with that prediction, what do we have in the market today? Maybe R4, but the entry will be difficult. Lots of unusual chopping. Right? I mean, are we doing that or are we doing that? Yes, AB. So like I have no trades today, technically, just equities. right? But if you go back and you look like my IG is really easy because I post them as pictures. So if you go to my profile on IG, for instance, like I'll show you, if you go on my profile on IG, you'll see every market forecast is in there because I post them as pictures, right? And I dare you, I dare you, go back in time and go through the last 2 weeks or so of my posts, and then line them. Yes, NQ did a double break. Go through and line up my posts. I will tell you Fridays was a bit off. I was thinking because of the wide range, buying S4 was a good option, but we ended up being just way too heavy. We did bounce S4 two times, which provided some profitable opportunities, right? But it really didn't turn into a good range, right? So Friday, not my best call. Every day prior to that for about 2 weeks, including yesterday and then now today, have been right in line with the cam structure and what we're thinking. So I want to help you all understand that this is not like some big like magic potion. You know what I mean? That I'm doing. This is the cam system, right? Because I know how to utilize the cam system in order to do that. Oh, let's see this Netflix call. Because of the cam system, right? It provides the ranges, and we should interact with the market in specific ranges, certain ways. I know everybody here thinks the market is, or not everybody. I know many people think the market is this big random open auction thing. It is not, right? I am here to absolutely tell you that the market is a massively, massively manipulated environment, right? Massively manipulated environment, right? This is very important to be aware, right? I know that you'll see lots of stuff out there. You see that some of the really the biggest market makers out there and out there talking to you, and they're on their thing and they're sitting there and they're telling you stuff like nobody knows where your stops are. That is bull crap. People absolutely know where your stops are. It's called level 3 data. I know where your stops are, right? You can buy level 3 in Bookmap, right? And you can actually see where stops are congregating in Bookmap. And if you can do it, right, then they can do it. But they don't want to represent that, because I think if many retailers started to truly understand how manipulated the market was, it would completely alter the way they trade. And if they altered the way they traded, it would be a lot less advantageous for the market makers and the specialists, right? Oh, fair, Corey. It's called management. I like that. That's funny. So yeah, so just kind of keep that in mind, right? That it is a very, very, very over controlled market. So and it now, how can I say that with such certainty? Is there any world other than in a manipulated environment where that candle is possible? Look at the perfection, right? Do you see where high of day is? It's right there. It's right there. Perfect. Watch. Microsoft, which is recovering a little bit right now. Look at that, right into the level off of it, right? NVIDIA, right out off of the level. Yeah, I mean, this, but I think Netflix is even more beautiful because it's just so perfect. That is not possible in any other way, right? But I'm showing you right here 3 different equity tickers, all 3 of them flawless setups. I didn't take any trades today, Mohammed. I didn't find anything that I liked. I actually thought ES looked good for a short for a while, but it didn't get high enough. I wanted R6. If we had gotten to R6, I would have started shorting. But since we never got there, we didn't happen. So the stop box can be modified how it calculates. So by default, the stop box is using a where is it at? So right now we use basically we're using different criteria to determine where our targets are, and based on your distance to target, we draw the boxes. Right, the box is like basically a 4-to-1 threshold on target. So like if this is 4R, this box is going to give you a 1R distance to that 4R. So you could risk 1R loss, and if you got a 4R move, that would be your target. There goes NQ. How does it know when to use RTH or ETH close? Uh, it always uses the same close. The difference is depending on how we have action in the pre-market, right? The difference there is we will adjust the CAM calculation using RTH or ETH high and lows based upon how much we've moved in the pre-market. If we've moved outside the regular trading session's high or lows, right, then we're going to use all the extended data. Oh, you guys are so awesome. 123 likes. Thank you so much. Just a reminder for anyone who's hanging, if you haven't liked it, please do. Appreciate you. All right, so Netflix looking pretty fun. So the Thor, so always every day in Alchemists, I'm trying to absolutely you should use the BSD as confluence. Like one of the things I love on Netflix is the BSD is actually saying selling right now. So we maxed out here. We went into very heavy buying and then we immediately offered into selling. So that's pretty fun. So no, I'm not currently using level 2 at all. I just I can maybe talk about that a little bit more actually. I don't really use level 2 as much anymore. And the reason is, and I know this is going to be kind of interesting. I don't use level 2 as much because I don't need to. I think when you're a newer trader, I think having a visual order book or level 2 is incredibly helpful, because it lets you see the market sentiment and what's happening, but I can figure that out by looking at stock charts, right? So when the chart is moving, depending on how the candles are closing and how much volume we're getting, I can tell that we're moving through a bullish book versus moving down a bearish book. Right. So, but I can't read book flips that way. So it is a little bit off, but I am working on getting my book map set back up. And then I'll probably start showing once I get my new computer in and then get my book map set back up. I'll start showing you that. I don't have Atlas and it burns too much processor for me to try and run it if I did. So Yeah, Eric, exactly. So I use volume and price analysis in order to kind of tell those things, right? How is ATR calculated? ATR is calculated using the industry standard methodology. So what we're doing is we're taking the session high, so that could be that's ETH, right? Extended trading hours. We're taking the session high and the session low of the entire time period. We're going to average that back through the past 14 days, and that gives us our ATR. And that is the institutional standard way to calculate ATR. So if you're yeah, it's perfect. There is no better calculation for ATR than the one than we have. For me, I have it's called AAL. They're adaptive ATR limits. They're in our suite of indicators, right? Adaptive ATR limits, and I use the basic calculation method because I'm basic. Very soon, AB. Would you like a sample of what it's going to look like when they come out? We're working on putting them apart. We've got a couple from me and a couple from Dr. V that are going to come out. These, but we can also use them for identifying. Here we go. Ready? This is what they're going to look like. So in this webinar, I am going to be bridging two major components, Camarilla pivots and the order book. Although each of these represent a different aspect of the total trading system, I thought it would be beneficial to show how the two elements can pair together to help add context to your charts. In this regards, I would like to continue thinking of this as part of the where, not the when. The where is most notably where we go to find great trade opportunities, but we can also use them for identifying profit targets. So by combining the order book with our pivots, it is possible to look for where we can expect to see transactional volume. So I'm going to be releasing. There are going to be multiple hour-long webinars that I'm going to be releasing in 8 to 10 minute-ish bites. Right. So you won't have to watch the entire thing and then save it and go back and back and back. Right. What is the best pivot indicator for TradingView? Dan, I thought you'd never ask. I thought you'd never ask. Oh, I'll be right back, and then I'll answer that question. So the videos are going to be broken into smaller chunks, but they're going to be 1 hour webinars that we're going to be releasing in 8 to 10 minute videos. So you'll be able to watch them kind of like episodes in a series, right? So rather than having to sit down for an hour to get through it, you'll have it on your YouTube. If you get like 10 minutes or something, a little toilet time, you can just sit there and pop open an episode and sit there and just watch through, right? And do your stuff. Right. Okay. So the best pivot indicator in TradingView is none other than Camarilla Pivot Plays by BruzzX. There is no better pivot indicator in the world. Right. It is what is creating these beautiful calls, like on Nvidia you see here, or the beautiful call that we had on Microsoft. Right? Or this beautiful call that we had on SPY. Right? Lots of gorgeous calls today to try and play. Right? So good. RTY is interesting. See, I told you these things would chop in this range. My pleasure. If you want the indicator, there is a free version available, Dan. You just go into TradingView and type Camarilla Pivot Plays. There is a free version. We also have a premium version, it's $100 a month, right? And the premium version of our indicators comes with the Camarilla pivot plays for the daily, for the monthly. It also comes with ghost candles, buying and selling detector, right, as well. And then our free indicators are included, which are like adaptive ATRs, really key levels, for instance, right? Those all we give to everybody because they're not really proprietary. You could create those yourself if you're a creative coder, but these are obviously a little bit more special. So it's 100 a month. If you sub for the year, we actually give you 2 months for free. So go by and check it out if you're interested. I mean, I know it, $100 a month is a small drop in the bucket if the indicator helps you, get to where you're making a grand a day. I mean, $100 a month ain't much when you're making a grand a day. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind too that we have the Market Alchemist community, right? It's our Discord that's with me and Dr. Vanessa Charland. So Dr. V and I have partnered up. We did back in November, to start moving through and getting everything going. So if you're looking to learn more about trading in general, performance, or how to use these indicators, that's probably the best place to do it. Other than on this YouTube channel, of course. How much knowledge is needed to use the indicator? That's an I think that so, and then I want to respond to what Natalie said. How much knowledge is needed to use the indicator? That it's really hard to tell. I'd recommend reading my book. If you've read my book, you should have a pretty strong idea of how to use the indicator. So, Natalie, the problem with custom indicators, all indicators are custom indicators, right? But the real thing is the problem with using stock indicators, right? Like for me, like what happens if DAS stopped working, or what happens if the indicator that I was using got modified, right? One of the reasons why Bruz and I coded our own system was for job security, right? I can tell you right now, our guy Bruz, who codes this is what Bruz does, right? This is his job now. Bruz spends all of his time coding custom indicators and maintaining and doing all of this. So it's very unlikely we're going to go anywhere because you're paying us, right? So that's pretty cool. Also, if you have the indicator, you also get access to this, right? Which is our access group, right? So you get pivot bot calls that are coming into the room. These pivot bot calls also will give you a little read on the BSD as well. But we have updates. So whenever we have updates, Bruz is posting what the update is, right? We have support if you need help configuring or anything like that, it's there. We have chat. So anyone who's a member, you can make friends and buddies and chat amongst yourselves. Some of you right now that are in here, I can see your names here, right? So we have trades where people are posting their trades for review, right? And stats. So there's a whole like smaller community within our bigger community that centers around the Access Plus. So on the top side of the Discord is the mentorship side, right? So this is the actual community side, right? Every single morning we do all of our morning sessions are all done on Zoom, so everyone can see each other and talk and ask questions. Right. Dr. V has so much information posted out there, from meditation exercises to psychological exercises. I mean, all kinds of amazing stuff getting posted. We do trade reviews, we share trade books. I mean, everything we need to do. Netflix, Tyler? All right, let's look at Netflix and Microsoft again. Netflix is reoffering. So another shot for anyone who didn't get it. Look how we just swept the high and then sold. That's really interesting. How's Microsoft doing? Oh, Microsoft is still good. Tyler, are you still in Microsoft? I think it was you that was in it. Yeah, you're still short Microsoft. Yeah. Good, 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 good. You need to hang on to this one. This is a good one. I really like this one. So I would still go for ATR low or maybe even CP on this one by the end of the day. The only way I get out of this one is if it rallies through these highs and maybe claims VWAP or yesterday's high. That would probably be a little too bullish for me. But right now, I would just let this thing rock and roll. Like you can see here, it only took it like an hour. Look, to get all the way down here only took like an hour. So it's moving quite well. So with this big sell, right? Look how we went right back to offer. Hey, Tyler, in the morning session, do you remember how I told you how important this level was? This test level off of that candle when I marked it, right? Look at the offer and where we sold from later. See what I mean? I wouldn't worry about pre-market low. We rallied and we had the opportunity to break and close. We failed. So we tried to accept. So above up near this area, right? Near R6, this if between R4 and R6 is a value area that we were trying to accept and we did not. We've run the entire range back to the downside and now we're selling and putting pressure on the bid. So for me, and we broke high of a low of day, I mean after 10:30. This is the other reason, Tyler, by the way, I liked this one, right? Because we broke low of day after 10:30. So our initial balance range is good on this one also, right? So a little shout out, by the way, a little public praise for my mentee, Tyler. Tyler is a future rock star in trading. This guy's, his mentality, his approach, the way he controls trades, his thought process, and the dude's been trading for like a half a year. Like it's not like he's been doing this for like 5 years or 6 years. He's a rock star in trading. So you just give this guy some time. You're gonna see I mean, I'm already seeing some insane trades coming out of this guy. It's beautiful. So proud of you, man, and how you're approaching all of this. AMD, I loved AMD at the initial offer, and then it just didn't work. It swept that high and then killed the play. But it's still a really pretty setup. Like, I still really like this. I think the issue was, and I was talking about this morning, we were not extended enough from VWAP for us to get a good mean reversion that got us pulled down. So I think we actually had to wait till our averages got a little tighter so we could lose them. You know what I mean? No, pre-market sweep has no statistical issues with them. Before I met Thor, oh, thank you, Tyler. Tyler says before I met Thor, I was losing every month, and now I am profitable. And now I am profitable and increasing every month. Thank you. And if you are not signed up for Market Alchemist, you should do it. I agree. But you're amazing. Um, uh, Kelvin, it does not hurt to understand market phases. It's not necessarily like it's not absolutely necessary to understand. But I think it's very helpful. So the market phases, right, which we're talking about, so what are we talking about phases, right? We're talking about buying or accumulation, right? We're talking about distribution, we're talking about testing, and we're talking about transition, right? That also is known as value, balance, excess, and imbalance. right? Those all line up with each other, right? So I'm bridging about 3 or 4 very popular authors' as concepts at the same time, right? So depending on who you read, you're going to get a slightly different angle on this, right? So if you're reading like Livermore or something like that, you're actually probably going to be looking at more on the side of value phases like accumulation, distribution. That's what you'll get with like Anna Cooling. That's what you're going to get a lot of that. But if you're actually using like Humphrey Neal, right, or Dalton, so you're talking about so Humphrey Neal is I always forget the titles. Um, Humphrey Neal wrote a book back in the late 20s, early 30s that I found very enjoyable. Um, uh, uh, Markets and no Markets and Profile is Neal is not Neal is Dalton. I'm trying to remember what the Neal book is right now. Something in Dang it. Does anyone know what book I'm talking about? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I'm blanked out on the title right now. It's killing me. I wish my buddy Mark was here. He'd remember. Yes, Robin. Thank you. Hey, Robin. Tape reading and market tactics. That's the one. Now, caution. The book is spicy, right? So I do have to make sure because I always have to say this before I recommend this book because some people are more sensitive than others. So just keep in mind that Humphrey Neal was an author working in the stock market in the 1930s, right? So some of the language or referencing in the book is not always going to be politically correct because it's a book that was written before that was necessary. But I thought I would warn you first. That way you don't have to, you don't go in and pick up the book and read it and go, wow, he said some spicy stuff in here, right? RTY, let's look at it. How are you doing, Pilar? Do you think RTY still could be as short at S3? You mean R3? My assumption. Um, RTY is doing exactly what I thought RTY was going to do today. Lower wide range, and we opened above R3. So for me to take a trade on RTY, it would have needed to open under R3 and then offered to it. Because we opened above it, this is a value area that we are too likely to accept. So for me, actually, no. I think NQ and ES could sell and RTY could just chop because it's in the wider range. Where ES and NQ, which are also chopping, because their range is narrow, they've got a little bit more to work with, right? But going from R4 to R6, this gives you a little bit more range to play with, right? NQ, yeah. So, how's Microsoft doing? All right, we got about 10 minutes left in our show. If you haven't had an opportunity to hit the thumbs up, like, share, all that good stuff, if you want to, I won't get mad. Hang on, dude. It looks good, right? So right now, if you look at the volume, Tyler, what's the volume say? Anytime we try and rally, right, we don't have gas, right? All of our volume is to the downside. Anytime we rally, we don't have gas, right? So for me, this is still a good short. Oh, of course, hot lava. So on the Alchemist community, um, here's the schedule. So Monday through Friday, every single morning other than Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Dr. Vanessa Charland does our first hour. Right. So from 8:30 to 9:30, she does higher time frame. We do a news briefing where one of my mentees, now turned buddy, Mohammed, does a full breakdown on like what news is coming out that day, what's in earnings, stuff like that, just to give you an idea of what we're expecting for the day. And then Dr. V does the larger time frames and marks levels and value, and then does psychological work to get us synced up and ready for the morning. While she's doing that, I give cam perspective the entire time. So every ticker she goes through, as she's done talking about it, she goes, and what do the cams say? She knows what they say, but she likes giving me something to do. So I will, go ahead and outline the cams, what we're looking with, and we do that on every ticker. At 9:30, I take over and I do live trading from 9:30 till 10:45 every single day. Right? This is the first time you've ever been able to get to me for live trading in the mornings, because when I was with the previous community I was with, I was working with Peak Capital and doing my live trading in there. So the only way you could live trade with me was to pay an astronomical amount of money. You had to sign up for that boot camp in order to be able to live trade with me. Now you don't. Now you just have to be a member of Alchemists, right? So and you can just come in there and hang with me every day. I come to YouTube for 11 to 12. Then every single day, Monday through Friday, we have a 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock segment. I do four of those, right? So four of those segments with me. And then on Thursdays, Dr. Vanessa does our Traders Anonymous, right? Which is where she sits down with everybody and, who's our traders. And it's an open session. I mean, we pour our guts out and talk about our fears, our confidence, how to scale, how to hold, how to not let your heart like freak you out and get you out of trades when you should be staying in. Right. So we do that up until 2, and then I do my 1-to-1 sessions. I do them from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock and 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then I'm done for the day every day. No more nights for me. Yeehaw. And that's our schedule every single day. So you get access to me if you included YouTube, an extra hour, but you get access to me 3 hours a day now. Because even on the Thursday sessions, I go to them. So Dr. V runs them, but I'm at every single session. So I'm in Alchemist for, at least from 8:30 through 10:45 and then an hour after. So you're getting over 3 hours with me every single day in Alchemist, which is not access anyone's ever had to me before, right? So, and on top of that, you get access to Dr. V also, right? Every single morning, other than Thursdays, and then one presented, concept every week. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, the higher time frame. So what Dr. V does is she actually goes through with a 4-hour chart and actually marks out all of our larger value and resistance and trends on the larger time frame. So think about swing trades, right? We're looking at where the institutions and where the swing traders are most likely to participate and get out with. This is why these trades work so well, right? Because we're combining higher time frame interaction with interday levels, right? So it's beautiful. RTY starting to sell a little bit more. I still like Netflix up here. How's Microsoft treating you? So we go through all of the major futures tickers we watch, which are the indexes. So basically, we go through ES, NQ, RTY, YM, crude, gold, and Bitcoin, and silver and platinum. We go through those, and then we do Mag 7 plus a few. Apple, Amazon, AMD, AVGO, Google. Here's our list, and then any ticker that someone in the community asks for otherwise. There you can do a yearly. We offer a yearly hot lava. So, and if you do the yearly, we take 2 months off. So it's $250 a month to be a member of the Alchemists and hang out with us every single day. But if you do the yearly, we knock 2 months off, so it's 2 grand for the year, right? So or 250 a month if you want to do month to month. So again, with that, you're getting access to a community that is never. I don't. I know I'm the partner, co-partner, co-founder. I guess, yeah, co-founder of this community. So I'm obviously gonna kind of brag on it and like it more. But I don't. There are no communities that I'm aware of that has a seasoned trader, right, that trades the way I trade with the indicators, with all the other setups. And then on top of that, you have a licensed clinical psychologist that has a doctorate in neurobiology, right? She's a badass, right? She has a doctorate in neurobiology, right? So when you're talking, she specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, right? So that's pretty cool. It doesn't do one-to-one time with me, Hot Lava, but I do offer one-to-one sessions a la carte. So, like, if you ever wanted to just work with me one-to-one, you can just book one anytime you want, right? But they're not included in with that. But you get so much group time, like, it's gonna feel like one-to-one. I mean, it's really like we've got plenty of time to chat and answer any question you want. But if you ever wanna just kinda hang, you can always set that up. But, I mean, I don't know if you'll even need it. You know what I mean? So, session with me is, 120 bucks, 125, I think, last time I remember for the session. So I only run a few sessions a week, and I've got a pretty decent weight on them. So I like the group stuff better, but I love working one on one. But thank you so much for all of the beautiful comments. Dr. V is really amazing. I'm so blessed to have that lovely person in my life. Having a trading community with Dr. V is beyond amazing because I think for me, I it makes sense because Dr. V is one of the reasons I trade the way I trade today. Right? Only a couple of years ago, I was only averaging $300 a day, right? And now I'm averaging 4 or 5 grand a day, right? A large amount of that progression has happened in the past year after I met and started working with Dr. Vanessa, right? So I'm probably her number one fan, which makes it very easy for this community. And we've got great synergy inside the community. We're like one big family in there. We're planning get together. We're gonna start doing like a daily get together inside of Alchemists. Or not a daily, like a weekly or maybe a monthly get together where we're gonna schedule some evening time where everyone can hang out and just talk and stuff like that. It's gonna be really cool. So, Microsoft, the week offer, big, strong with the top. And then as we pushed higher, higher, and higher, look how the volume declined. Look how we stagnated on the buying and selling detector. We're making new highs, but we can't sustain, right? Welcome home. I think that's the way I want to start opening up every single morning, Kelvin. Every time we do one of these sessions, I'm going to start opening it with welcome home. I really like that. Like the idea. Yeah, indicator and mentoring are two separate things. Just because I don't want any person to have to necessarily commit to one or the other to be involved. I want you to be able to pick which one you want or not, and it's easier for us tracking wise too. So they're individual charges. Um, Thanks. Question: if you are shorting R3, the price does not respect it on the way up, but it respects it on the way back down. Do you still see it? It could be valid. If we oversweep R3 by too much, the problem is we're going to go so high, it's unlikely we get a good sell off afterwards. So it's kind of important it adheres to it, ideally. Everybody, it is noon. I want to remind you all that tomorrow I will be traveling, so no YouTube tomorrow. Come back on Thursday, and we will do that. If you come back on Thursday, we'll just have a whole lot of fun, right? So I want to thank you all for coming by and hanging out with me. It's so amazing. Thank you for choosing Alchemist to be your trading home for the 11 to 12 o'clock time slot. If you need anything, you know, I'll see you here on Thursday. We can talk about it then. Otherwise, you know, you can always message me through my Instagram, right, or through my X, right. Find me on there. You can shoot me a message. It's much easier than getting an email lost somewhere, right. And then come by and hang out with us. We'd love to see you. We'd love to add you into the Market Alchemist family and be a part of changing the paradigm of retail trading into the future. So I really, really appreciate you all. Much love, people. And if you need anything, let me know. Keep it green.